Picks. I'm your host Todd. As you can see, Matt has shrunk a bit. Say hello, Matt. Matt isn't here today because I'm doing a picks and predictions video, going back to that now. I'm going to try and get them done every week, time permitting. So it's good to be back. Forgive me, I might be a bit out of practice. Matt and I later or sometime this week will do our end of year awards, Naughty Boy Fight Picks, and then next week we'll be back with a preview of UFC on ESPN Plus, Dillashaw vs Cejudo, which I'm going to do the picks and predictions for today. Matt's just over there now. I was just saying that you've shrunk. Excuse the house, it's a bit loud, but that's cool. I'm sure you can hear me. So is there any other housekeeping? No. Brand new year. Looking forward to getting into it. It felt good to research a card properly again and be confident in the picks I'm making, because I've just winged it for the last few weeks. Marley's just discovered an iPod and he's listening to it. What are you listening to, buddy? Does it look? And he's eating some sultanas, which he apparently hates. But what do we got here?
Put it on.
Yeah, go. Where is it? Oh. Listening to how I live. It sounds great. Alright, we'll get into this card quickly. The order, like I was looking at it earlier, and it's shuffled on the UFC website, so fuck knows what order it goes in. But we'll go with the order I began with. Don't worry, Lani, I don't think it'll come through too bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Oh, okay, sweet. First fight of the night from the original card I was looking at is Randy Brown versus Chance. Ring counter, Randy Brown 10-3, ring counter 12-3. Let's look at the notes we got here. Chance 12-3, never been finished. He's bounced around a few organizations. I think he's fought in Bellator and some others. He's had 6 KOs and a couple of subs in recent fights. He's a long guy, well schooled offensively, but has pretty poor striking defense. No head movement, very hittable, but
I'm going to school next year.
yeah, Marley's going to school next year. Thanks for the input, buddy. He's very hittable, but he appears to be tough and has a good chin. As I was saying before, he's never been finished. As for Randy Brown, he's 10-3. He has fought more than half his pro career in the UFC. Of his 10 wins, he's got 5 wins by KO, 3 by submission. He's even longer than Chance, so really big for this division. Brown just appears to be faster, more dangerous, and elusive than Chance. Brown has a good jab, which I expect him to land and get his kicking game going off of that. I think he can outmaneuver and outpoint Chance over 3 rounds, so the pick there is Brown by decision. Next fight of the night is a banger. Belal Muhammad 14-2 versus Jeff Neal 10-2 in the welterweight division. I think that first fight was in welterweight as well, which I forgot to say. Neal's 10-2. He's got scary speed and power, dangerous. All his dangerous attacks really appear to come from the left side, the kick and the straight left hand. Although he occasionally lands a pretty decent right hook, a lead hook. Looking at the tape, I was thinking Neal might be there for Belal's leg kicks. He's got a real good leg kicking game, usually being the shorter guy than his opponents he employs this. I think Balazs can give Neal a far tougher fight than he's ever had thus far in his career. I expect him to eat up the legs with the kicks and slow him down early, then outpoint him over 3 rounds. I'm picking Balazs by decision. He's a pretty heavy underdog here, but I don't think I want to bet it, just given that speed and power that Neal has. Next fight of the night. This one, I believe, was rescheduled from just recently. Dennis Bermuda is 17-9 up against T. Edwards, 6-1 in the lightweight division. I think when they were scheduled last time, I had a bet on this fight, but watching the tape again, I think I have abandoned that idea. Bermudez has lost 4 in a row. Edwards lost his debut recently. There's a big experience and balance here. Obviously, Bermuda's been around forever, fought all the toughest guys in this division. Or I think at 145 perhaps. Edwards had a really strange debut. It looked like he got surprised by Madge early in the fight and then never really got back in it. Edwards should have a big speed advantage here. Bermuda's looked pretty slow and sloppy recently. And I do expect Edwards to win, and I expect him to probably get a KO early, but I don't want to bet this fight just given Bermuda's experience. I think he could, and yeah, given Edwards' first performance in the UFC, I can't really trust him. What are you doing now, Marley? Just dancing. Okay, that's cool. This is going to make this a much more entertaining video. Next fight of the night is another great one. We have John Hands of Stone Lineker, number 6 ranked bantamweight, versus relative newcomer to the UFC, Corey Sandhagen. Lineker's 31-8, hugely experienced. Corey Sandhagen 9-1. Sandhagen's never been finished. He showed a lot of grit in his fight versus.
Trying to get rich. Trying to get rich. Trying to get rich.
He showed a lot of grit in his fight versus Alcantara. Oh, that's cool. And some nasty ground and pound in that fight. I think that was a fight where he got Yuri got a real deep armbar on him, and Sandhagen survived it and then landed ground and pound for the rest of the round. Sandhagen's really long for 135. He's mobile and he moves well. Fast and fluid, elusive, and he just appears super composed and comfortable even when he does get into spots of bother. In his offense, he's got great variety and creativity. Lineker, we all know his game. He likes to come forward, swings from the hip. He occasionally
I'm hearing this.
Goes into a counter game. Marley's listening to Black Cobain. Very good, thanks, buddy. I think Lineker might struggle with Corey's elusiveness and movement in this fight, and I do have a lot of faith in Sandhagen to weather any kind of storm that Lineker throws at him. So I'm picking Sandhagen by decision here, and I've got a play on him. I'll go through all the plays at the end of the video. Next fight of the night, we have Alonzo Menefield, 7-0, versus Vinicius Castro Moreira. His name appeared differently in different places on the UFC website. They got Vinicius Castro, but on YouTube it was Vinicius Moreira. Not heaps of tape to study on these guys, but what I did look at, Moreira's a BJJ specialist, 9-1. 8 of his wins have come by sub, 1 by KO, so all finishes. He has, in the fights I saw, which are kind of old, so I imagine he's improved, he had pretty awful stand-up, but he does land some crazy kicks on guys, some real BJJ shit. He's got a good takedown. He'll chain a takedown. He'll stick with a takedown. Mostly gets them when he gets guys up against the fence. And he's got some pretty good control on top as well. He's able to scramble. Appears to be really tough, so in the fights I saw him eat a lot of punishment because of his undeveloped stand-up technique. And he's a really, really big light heavyweight. Menefield 7-0, 6 KOs, 1 sub. He's a former football player, fast and powerful, but really wild with his technique. He really wings his shots and looks to take guys' heads off. I'm thinking in this fight that Moreira may be able to kind of duck under one of those wild shots and get a takedown eventually, although Menefield does look hard to take down. He's big, strong and powerful. But I feel like if Moreira gets it to the ground, Menefield's going to look way out of his depth there. So I'm picking Moreira by sub. And I'm thinking I might play that prop bet if it comes out at a reasonable price. Also another prop for this fight I will certainly look at is fight does not go the distance. I can't see that one going the distance. Next fight of the night, we have Joanne Calderwood, 12-3 out of Scotland, versus Ariane Lipsky, 11-3. Lipsky is over 11 wins. Most of those have come by finish. Those losses she had were very early on in her career. Now she's on a 9-fight win streak. She's a crisp, powerful Muay Thai striker with finishing power. Did notice occasionally, or quite often, her stance appears to be very square, which looked a bit weird but didn't appear to pose any problems. Maybe it will at this level, we'll see. But she's also very young and developing still. She's pretty happy to walk through shots of her opponents to land her own, trusting in that big power she has. Glimpses I saw of her ground game were really good. Saw her lock up a few subs and win fights by submission. She was a KSW champ there for a few fights. Her last fight was a 5-round defense of the title. Couldn't find footage of that fight, but that's good experience nonetheless. I think she's only 24, so young and developing. Being a champ in a big organisation, I think she'll come in pretty confident. Calderwood's 12-3. She moved back up to 125 in her last fight after a streak of losses, and then got a win in that last fight over Teixeira. In that fight, she got taken down early, I think got back up, got taken down again, spent the whole round on her back, and then locked up a triangle, I believe, at the end of the round. Calderwood's got decent stand-up technique, but she does appear to be quite plodding in her movement and pretty hittable as well. Saw her lose a 3-round stand-up fight to Cynthia Calvillo, who had a severe height and reach disadvantage and is not a striker first and foremost, which Calderwood is supposed to be. I think the crisp and powerful striking of Lipsky will be the difference here. I think she'll surprise and hurt Calderwood early and get a finish, I imagine. Not sure whether that's going to be a KO or a sub, but I think she hurts her on the feet and either jumps on her, gets a sub, or just straight KOs her. She appears to have the power to do. So looking forward to seeing how Lipsky looks at this level, but I think she could be a prospect. Looks like someone that the UFC have brought in to kind of get some challenges for Valentina in that 125 division. Next fight of the night is another exciting one. Alexander, surprise, surprise, the great Hernandez, number 11th ranked lightweight versus Donald Cerrone. Cerrone, it says he's ranked 13 here. I'm not sure if that's at lightweight or welterweight, but whatever. Hernandez 10-1, Cerrone 34-11. What do we got here? Hernandez is on an 8-fight win streak. He's 2 fights into his UFC debut. He smoked Beneil Dariush in his debut. Comes out really aggressive, starts fast, which, as we know, can be a problem for Cerrone. He likes to come forward, but he doesn't just come straight forward. He uses good angles and movement. He's all pressure and aggression. He looks very athletic. He's got good takedowns. He can chain them together. And in that last fight versus OAM, he really showed that he can grind an opponent against an opponent who's known for that. So that was really impressive. We all know Cerrone's game. Good kickboxing with a nasty submission game. I think the young, powerful athlete will prevail against a depleted Cerrone moving back to 55. Not really sure why he's going back down at this stage of his career. Wouldn't be surprised if this is an early finish, if Hernandez catches Cerrone early. But if the fight does go past the first round, I do trust Hernandez to win a long, grindy fight as well. So Hernandez to win there. Not too sure whether it'll be the early finish or a longer decision or late finish, but yeah, definitely picking Hernandez. Pretty confident in that one. Next fight of the night. Oh, my computer's been a dick. Alright. Got the number 12 ranked light heavyweight Glover Teixeira versus Ion Cutelaba. Glover 27-7, Cutelaba 14-3 and 1 no contest. What do I write here? Fuck all. Cutelaba's only been to decision twice. He's never been KO'd. He's pretty wild, so it's quite possible with the nice boxing technique Glover might clip him a bit. But like I said, he's never been finished, and I think he'll just be able to outlast Glover until he lands something, and Glover's chin doesn't really appear to be there anymore. So pretty cut and dried. I think a Cutelaba KO is on the cards here, but don't be surprised if that's not before Teixeira hurts him at some point. Next fight versus Rachel Ostovich. Van Zandt 7-4, Ostovich 4-4. Paige isn't even ranked anymore. This fight at 125, or is she coming up? I think she might be. Yeah, not much to say about this fight. I just Ostovich appears to be pretty unathletic and unskilled, and I think Paige Van Zandt could just outmove and outpoint her over 3 rounds. So PVZ by decision here. Could look at that prop. Probably isn't paying much though. On to next fight of the night, Joseph Benavidez versus Dustin Ortiz. This is Benavidez the number 2 ranked flyweight, Dustin Ortiz number 8 ranked. Both guys been doing pretty well lately. This is a rematch they fought in 2014. Where the fuck are my notes? Yeah, so Joe B won that by decision, the fight in 2014. Ortiz is on a 3-fight win streak, been looking good lately, got that big knockout last out. Joe B only dropped a close split decision to Sergio in his last 8 fights. Apart from that, they've all been wins. Looked really good in his last fight. I'm just expecting this to look pretty similar to the first one, and Benavidez to win by decision again, so that's my pick there. Next fight of the night. Number 15th ranked lightweight Gregor Gillespie versus Yancy Medeiros. Gillespie 12-0 unbeaten. Yancy Medeiros 15-5. Gillespie, of his 12 wins, he has 5 by KO, 5 by sub. I didn't realize he'd been around this long, but he's 5-0 in the UFC, so nearly half his professional career has been spent in the UFC. Yancy had been on a pretty good run prior to that Cerrone loss, but I just think the pressure and takedown game of Gillespie is going to be too much for him here. Yancy's got pretty decent takedown defense, but I just think Gillespie's one of those guys that has the gas to be relentless until he gets that takedown. I think he'll get it. I'm picking Gillespie to get a finish here, probably around the 2nd round. I think Yancy's going to tie. He's coming back down to 155. And yeah, I just can't see him going at Gillespie's pace for very long now. I think he's going to be fucked by round 2, if not earlier. Next fight of the night, which earlier appeared to be the co-main event, now is down the bottom of the card according to the UFC site, is Greg Hardy 2-0 versus Alan Crowder 9-3. We'll get into the shit around Greg Hardy on the preview show I do with Maddie. Won't talk about that here. We'll just talk about the fight and the prediction. Yeah, this just looks like a layup fight for Hardy. Crowder's pretty terrible. Looks like they've brought him in to lose here to a guy that obviously wanted to promote and think they can make some coin off. So I'm predicting Hardy KO by round 1. But I really hope that Crowder knocks him out. That would be fucking hilarious. So yeah, pick their KO for Greg Hardy, the woman beater. Next fight of the night, Super interesting one. Flyweight title fight. Henry Cejudo, the flyweight champ, 13-2, versus TJ Dillashaw, the bantamweight champ, 17-3. I didn't really write any notes or look too much into this fight, but I haven't really had any, since this was announced, I haven't thought at all that I can see Cejudo winning this. Obviously there's the weight cutting issue for Dillashaw, but I think Cejudo has a hard time cutting to this weight as well, and I don't think they're too different in size. I just think TJ is a much more skilled fighter in all areas, and I think he can stop the takedowns of Cejudo and beat him up on the feet. I would have fancied Dillashaw in a fight against DJ as well. I think he's just more skilled than those guys and stronger and has finishing power. Be interesting to see whether he still brings that finishing power down to this weight division, and if the fight does go the distance, how he looks in the later rounds. But I do trust him to get there. I just think, I don't know, TJ Dillashaw just appears to be such a motivated, disciplined athlete, and I can't see him not doing this properly. So I'm picking TJ here, and I think he will win this fight by decision. I'm going to go TJ by decision in the main event here. So with that, we'll go look at my bets for this card. In straight picks, I got a 4-unit play on Corey Sandhagen over Lineker. He was paying $2.62. And then I got a 6-unit play on Alexander Hernandez at $1.50. Parlays, I've got Hardy, Gillespie and Hernandez parlayed together, and I got Dillashaw and Lipsky parlayed together for 4 units for each of those. Put some long parlays on for this event and coming events. I got Gillespie, Johnny Walker, Adesanya and Whitaker parlayed together. Pretty confident in all those ones. And then I got Dillashaw, Hardy and Max Griffin in the next card parlay together. So that's that. Thanks for watching the video. I hope people are glad I'm back doing the picks and predictions and doing it properly again. I'm glad to be back doing it because I think my betting is going to improve from doing this. So, and that was the original motivation for doing this as well. Like I said earlier, we'll be back with our end of year awards video this week sometime. And we'll be back with a preview show with Maddie for this upcoming card, Dillashaw versus Cejudo, early next week, I hope. Till then, get at us with comments for those videos. We'll answer them in the preview one. And like and subscribe to videos, please. That helps us out a great deal. Yeah, so until the next one, thank you very much. Peace.